Watch out for Daniel on the mat in the next Saigon Super Fights.
All right. Thank you for having me in your beautiful studio. The reason why I'm so excited to get you on the Extraordinary Humans podcast is because I think you and Adam, what is Adam's last name? Okay, because I don't have him on LinkedIn yet, but we'll get him in there. You guys are doing something I think is extraordinary, and it's this principle of growing a community, content first, and I feel this is transferable to many businesses. So before we dive into that, can you just tell me, for everyone who doesn't know, Zac is my jiu-jitsu coach, and his podcast is the Saigon Saga. It's the first combat sports podcast in Vietnam. Zac, how did you start making these videos? I've never asked you this. What is the very beginning?
Great question. I actually always made videos. Since I started grappling, I actually started grappling consistently since 2020, a few times in 2018 in Hanoi, but consistently I started grappling in October 2020. I just took the camera, I just recorded myself, right? I just recorded myself. I'd make videos, and really I just wanted to make videos that made me look cool so I could share with my friends, right? But every gym I went to, I would make all these videos. And then I was highlighting the coach. I was highlighting other people, cool moves. And then I got to putting them on Instagram, and then I would tag the gym. I would tag the coach and then add collaborator. And pretty much I did that with everyone. And then I started at the first gym that I coached at. We were building a wrestling program, and I wanted people to feel valued when they came to my wrestling class. And how do you make people feel valued? You create videos for them and make them feel good and make them look good, right? So that's what I did. If we had a new student in class, I would basically give them a private lesson while guiding everyone else, and then make videos and then make them look good and then share that, right? So that was a big part of it. I'm already doing all this work anyway. I'm already making all these videos. How can I use these videos to make the largest impact possible? So here we are in Saigon, a growing grappling community. We've got all these small gyms. We've got Arcane Grappling, got Overrunner, got Team Shark, got Submission Grappling Club D3. We've got Ohana MMA. We've got so many more. We got Gizdio. We got Kimura. I've never been to Kimura, but we got all these different gyms, and and we've all these issues, and we have all these opportunities, and we could all use their facilities, but I didn't feel, while every gym has an Instagram or a Facebook, I felt that there was not a platform on which people can have discussions to create opportunities, right? So that's what the podcast is all about. The podcast is here to accomplish one goal, and that goal is to create opportunities for everyone, right? And we do that by highlighting gyms, highlighting key influencers, asking questions, and now holding events.
Awesome. So if I can just summarize that to try group some of the principles into one place. One of the first things Zac said to me was, you're first a media company, right? And when he said you, he meant like all of us. Like we should all be media companies first, right? And that stuck out to me. And so the principle here is like, jiu-jitsu is nascent in Vietnam. I think you said a stat last week. How many people are in the country and how many people do jiu-jitsu?
Well, it's just in Ho Chi Minh City, between 13 and 16 million, and less than 1,000 do jiu-jitsu.
Okay, so less than 1,000 people, right? A bunch of these gyms spread out all over the place. Then comes this gentleman who starts making these cool videos, and suddenly all of these gyms are connected, right? And then the next step is well, what do we need to grow jiu-jitsu, this community? What do they need?
I think
The one thing that you recently did, the first one.
events, Saigon super fights.
Okay, they need events, right? But now, because everyone is connected, it's so much easier to set up and throw an event, right? And I didn't know I attended this event. I was set up for failure by my coach. And but I was so surprised when I got there because it was so professional, right? So then Zac created content around this event, and suddenly there's a bit of momentum. This whole community is connected, and now there are events, and now everyone is asking, when's the next event? And this principle, watching it unfold in real life, I think is something startups can take away from you, and see how does this transfer into their community? How do they connect everyone with the content, and how do they in real life connect the community? Like, what is their event, right? And then from there, there's momentum and traction, right? So that's why I was interested to get you on here.
Can I say something?
No, you can't. You absolutely cannot.
Yeah, so I think if you're building a community, one approach that can work that we've had success with is identify the stakeholders in the community, right? Build relationships with those stakeholders and create an event where everyone benefits, right? Someone might have a gym, someone might have a coach, someone might have a referee, right? Consolidate all those resources to one event which sets up everyone for success, regardless of what it is. I think that's one good way to build a community, right?
That's great. And I think the opportunity to do that, previously you would think it's just big companies like, we need an investor to come do this. We need I'm as an ordinary person not capable of doing this. But now your ability to record video with a phone, right? And buy a microphone and use tools like CapCut or Descript, they're free trials, right? The ability for us all to create content it's easy now. And it's an opportunity that I think people should jump on. And that's something you helped me with. So maybe you could share some of the tools that you think people should use if they're a company, a startup, and they haven't created any content. What tools should they start with first?
Yeah, great. So first thing that you need is something that everybody has, and that's a phone. That's a cell phone right here. You can use that. You can record. Now, as far as creating videos, creating content, CapCut is really good for short form content. But I think Descript is one that we have used that has been a real game changer. You record your video, you upload it, and automatically transcribes everything, and you can go through the text. And the text, the audio, and the video is tied together, which means if you see a paragraph that you wanted to omit, delete the text, and it deletes the audio and the video immediately. That is a absolute game changer, right? And let's say you can even they just had a huge update, by the way, which you can turn long form content into shorts. So they'll take a look at, like, you can upload an hour, and then they'll automatically create 10 to 15 shorts with the captions on it, and then you can edit the captions. So Descript is huge, especially for long form content. If you want something for short form content, CapCut is an option, but I think there are better options out there. If you want to do podcasting remotely, you can use Riverside, which the beauty of that is, let's say you're doing a Google Meet. The quality can be bad depending on the Wi-Fi connection. Here it saves on the local device and then uploads through your web browser, so you get the high definition of the audio and the video. And you editors out there know what I'm talking about. It starts the video and the audio at the same spot, so you don't have to worry about lining it up, which can take hours. We spent 6 to 8 hours editing our first few episodes because we didn't understand the value of that. Squadcast is another one that does that as well, which is you get free Squadcast if with a paid subscription or of Descript. So those are the tools that I would use, but just don't take my word for it. Go and try them out yourself. They these days you have free trials. So
Great. Those were a lot of useful tools that I can vouch for. That saved me a lot of time. And I think if you're a founder or you're a business owner, you don't have too much time, right? So use these tools. They make everything much faster. So we went through the tools. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the platforms? I mean, Instagram's a big one. We talked about LinkedIn. There's a way you use it that I find is very intelligent, right? If you're doing this purposely to grow a community and connect people.
Yeah. So YouTube and Instagram are the ones that are the platforms that we use. A little bit of TikTok, but not as much. And also Facebook, right? So Instagram is more for short form content that it's easier to get a lot of views. So you can channel, and then our YouTube is for our long form content, our full episodes and things like that. We have found that it's much easier to get views on Instagram Reels than it is for our long form content. So we try to make our podcast interesting with podcast clips, event coverage clips, behind the scenes stories on Instagram. We've got and then highlights, carousels of a thumbnail with 5 highlights that are 20 to 30 seconds of each episode, and then with the link of the YouTube video for the full episode, should they choose to go there. So you basically have reels that's for new audience, right? People who don't follow you, and then keeping your followers engaged or stories. You want to do a couple stories per day to keep your current followers engaged, right? So that's basically what we use. And then we also use YouTube, which is the platform that you can more quickly get monetized on. Once you get a certain number of followers and watch hours or subscribers, then you can get monetized. We are more familiar with the Instagram algorithm, right? So you can some of the videos, you can only upload a 1-minute video on Instagram, right? You can upload hours on YouTube, right? So, but for your shorts or your reels, you can upload that same. You don't have to change anything. For YouTube, the algorithm's a bit different. There are some reels that we've gotten almost 1 million views on, and then we upload to YouTube Shorts and get 2,000. What's the difference? We don't really, we're still kind of figuring that out. But I think everyone should have an Instagram, because if you have almost everyone in the world has an Instagram, and you meet someone new, especially a business owner. Hey, how can I connect with you? Can I get your Instagram? Yeah, you get my Instagram, and that's a nice gateway, easy to an easy in, right? For you single fellas out there struggling with women, easy way to get, instead of asking for their number, asking for Instagram. Everybody wants to show them off. Instagram is all about look at me, right? Look at me. People showcase what they're doing, whether it's business or whatever, right? So I think that you've got to be on Instagram, right? Even if it's just a channel to your YouTube or your LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn is kind of the next frontier for the Saigon Saga, and thankfully we have a resident expert here in Ho Chi Minh City that's going to guide and direct us.
Thank you, Zach. Keep an eye out for Zach's profile. Maybe we'll do a before and after. But so Zach spoke about Instagram, and I think the principle is that it's the first step, create the content, right? But then the next step, which Zach's been helping me with, is like how you curate or organize that content to be consumed. And to do that, you need to understand how people consume that content on Instagram, which Zach just described. And it's a great way I'll talk about LinkedIn quickly, but Instagram is a great way to funnel people, like you said, so many people have it, and to quickly grab their attention and funnel people to LinkedIn or to your website or to your YouTube page, right? So if you are a founder, you want to reach your customers or grow a community, I think Instagram, like you said, is important. Not that you need to be a single man and necessarily use it in that way, but the principle is that obviously people do. The principle is that people are addicted to content. It's hard to, everyone knows, even if you try not to consume content, you open your phone, you get stuck on there, right? Yeah. So I'll just do a quick note on LinkedIn is that now the LinkedIn platform is a bit different. But the one thing people struggle with is that they think they have to be, this is why Zac's not on it yet. Based on everything he just said, he thinks he needs to have a suit and tie on to be on LinkedIn. And the thing is, you don't. I think on LinkedIn, the opportunity is to be yourself, right? Not trying to be blatantly a salesperson, although if you do that in an authentic way, I think it's fine. And not just making use of ChatGPT. People skim over that content. On LinkedIn, if you can be yourself, be authentic, talk about your business or your idea, it seems like people are consuming that. That's the stuff that gets promoted. And I think the opportunity is to capture your unique content because no one else can do that today. It's the internet's flooded with inauthentic stuff, sales or AI stuff, and people seem to have a yearning for these documentary style things. And keep an eye out for Zac on LinkedIn.
I just want to touch on one thing that you mentioned that's very important. Ever since ChatGPT came out, the internet has been flooded with articles that are written by ChatGPT. Even though ChatGPT pretty much knows everything that's on the internet, about any topic, ChatGPT has not gone through the struggles, and the hardships, right, of being an MMA champion, of becoming a successful entrepreneur, all of those things. So they can't speak to that. So now, just like you mentioned, there are the algorithms are going to favor more authentic accounts of experiences. And on top of that, if you can tell the story, if you can make a video of you speaking about an experience or talking about something that is authentic that ChatGPT cannot create, that is what that's what the opportunity is here in 2024. And I think that's a really good point. And Daniel's onto this, and I think that any startup founder should make content. And so, I think sometimes it's easy for us to say, oh, this content, this trend is this is going to go away eventually, and it's not going to be. Think about this: people are still buying newspapers.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
People are still buying newspapers. You think video content's going anywhere anytime soon? Come on, guys. So. Just to re-emphasize the importance, because everyone has a cell phone, because everyone has access to these programs that will make videos for you. No matter what you do, you are first a media company, and second, whatever it is you do, right? I don't care what kind of business you are. If you are a business owner, you are first a media company, right? And second, you are, whether it's a wrestling coach or you are, you have a restaurant or whatever it is. Yeah. Like if I'm looking, the first thing I do is look on Google and check out the reviews or check out the videos or something like that, or go to a gym. I check out their videos first, right?
I think you hit the nail on the head there, because if you don't do that, other people are. There are these free tools that we mentioned, or cheap when you really want. When you see that it works, you'll pay for it for sure. So if you don't do it, your competitors are. But the important thing to remember is you don't need to feel like, I need to do all this marketing. It's like, no, a customer review, interview a customer. What was your experience like at wrestling class or at the restaurant? That's content. That's what I'm trying to I'm trying to also express like the opportunity that Zach described, but then also like you don't feel like you can't do it. Everyone can do it, right? Also, why you want to believe Zach is because Zach worked in military intelligence. We don't know how much he can talk about that, but Zach said he always told stories. He always made videos. Well, you did work in intelligence, right? And you did work at Snapchat, and when I hear that and I see your videos getting millions of views, some of them, right? And like you said, you haven't figured it out. It's a bit of an art too. You got to test. How can people get involved? Because if I think of someone with your perspective and some of the clips getting millions of views, I know there are businesses out there that think, oh, I pay a bunch of money to get some views, right? That would want their logo displayed to an audience who would want people like you, right, to promote their logo. How can people in the future, how can people get involved with Saigon Saga or reach out to you? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you guys know, the Saigon Saga, it is all about growing and promoting the grappling community here in Saigon and throughout all of Vietnam, right? And but not limited to. It could be also all of Southeast Asia, and we have partners in Malaysia and Indonesia and a few other countries here. So, who do we want on the podcast? Right? Who do we want on the podcast? Right? We want people who are key influencers in the community, right? People who have funny grappling stories, people who have entertaining stories. Let's say, oh man, I really suck at grappling. How can I ever be on the Saigon Saga? Be funny. Tell a funny story, right? Be entertaining. We are building this community through entertainment. Right?
Most jiu-jitsu people are weird anyway, right? Most jiu-jitsu people are weird. I'm weird. This guy is very weird. So if you're training, you can get on the podcast. I'm willing to bet.
Do you have a funny story? Do you have an entertaining story? Do you have a unique perspective? Do you have something that you can add? Do you have something that might give us ideas on how we can grow the community, right?
Sorry to interrupt you there. If you're a business and your target audience are fitness-oriented people, right, or the parents or the kids or the friends of these people attending the events, like Rakin Brian, who makes power bites, you also can get involved, because I really enjoyed the first Saigon Super Fights. Seeing the branding, it was epic. Seeing the kids, the girlfriends, the wives, the brothers, the sisters, and the grapplers and the coaches, all in one place. So not only people on the podcast, I think people who want to reach this audience, or just love sort of the fitness martial arts lifestyle, can they reach out to you on LinkedIn?
Once I get it set up, okay. Yeah, they could. Okay, by the time you guys see this, okay, Instagram is probably the number one, but we're gonna start putting the LinkedIn. I just want to thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for staying on me and making me do this. And making, I know that I've made excuses in the past, and I just haven't done it. But thank you for doing this, because I know it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for the Saigon Saga and here in the Saigon grappling community. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Can we talk about what we're going to do to your LinkedIn profile?
Okay. Yes, we're going to do that in a second. But I want to emphasize a couple things. Okay, who can be involved in the Saigon Saga, right? Number one, hosts. If you want to be a host, have a unique perspective, okay? We don't want to hear boring stories. We want to give a unique perspective. It doesn't matter if you're a black belt, it doesn't matter where your belt are. You can even be a white belt, you can come on the show. Have a unique perspective and offer something new to the grappling community. Number two, if you're a company, if you're Power Bites, if you have a food, you have a gym, you have something, give us an idea how you can contribute to an event like Saigon Super Fights 2. You can offer, you can be a referee. You can offer commentators. You can offer, something. you can offer the participants maybe 1 week membership at your gym, whatever the case may be, right? We're going to be having different types of events. We're going to seminars, right? Maybe you can offer 50% off of your product. Maybe you can offer a free trial at your gym. Maybe you have a CrossFit gym, whatever the case may be. Maybe you don't know what to do. Reach out to the Saigon Saga. How can I help contribute to the growth of jiu-jitsu, grappling, combat sports here in Saigon? I don't know how to help, but I do want to help. Reach out to the Saigon Saga.
Yeah, I strongly encourage people to do so because from my perspective, coming from like the business side of things, seeing what Zac's been doing, having the light bulb moments, when I went to that first event, I was like, wow, 1-2 years, the sport is going to be different. And I'd like to get involved. So that's why I'm annoying him all the time with ideas.
One more thing.
And he's got one more thing. Here we go.
So for Saigon Super Fights, this is a huge opportunity for local businesses here in Saigon to contribute to Saigon Super Fights, right? Saigon Super Fights. This is a spectator and competitor-focused event. It's short, 2 or 3 hours. Every single moment is exciting, and you're done by 12 at the latest 1 p.m. so you can enjoy the rest of your Saturday, you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Okay, that being said, okay, we are going to offer cash prizes for the winners at Saigon Super Fights. Okay, if you would like to donate a little bit of money, right? Imagine if a local Vietnamese wins one of these tournaments, 2 million dong can go a long way in competition, providing buying gear and freeing up some time so they can get on the mat more and train more for that next competition, right? And also, we're also working toward anyone who enters the competition is going to get paid just for having a slot. Okay, we don't know what that number is, but if you would like your brand on the content that comes from that, or at the event itself, reach out to the Saigon Saga. Hey, I can donate 1 million. Hey, I can donate 2 million, and you will help the growth of grappling in Saigon, in Vietnam, in a way that has not been done in Vietnam's 5,000-year history. Think about that, guys. Think about that.
Great opportunity. And why don't we just talk about some opportunities for a bit? The one opportunity I noticed, I was hungry at the last event. Thank goodness Rakin Brian was there. And I got some power bites. And yeah, I was nervous for my match. I had a big, strong guy. And, didn't know how delayed the match was going to be. Luckily, it wasn't because it was well organized. But I got a bit nervous and I needed to eat. Rakin Brian was there with some power bites, gave me a bit of power. So people selling food products, there's an opportunity right there to get, not only are there a lot of people at the event, which I was surprised by, but all of those people are going to go train, and going forward, they might come back to consume your product, right? So I think food, drink products, that's an opportunity at the event. I noticed one thing is that I came from rugby, growing up playing rugby, and a lot of people have crossover from other sports and coming from other countries, right? So then people will be like, wow, did you wrestle or whatever, just because I have the stance? And where I'm getting at is there's an opportunity for gyms and trainers, and a lot of the Vietnamese athletes maybe haven't had exposure to good, proper strength and conditioning. And if you want to get in early to a sport that's going to develop, maybe you can start offering some of these programs, start visiting the events, start advertising your programs, build something, be one of the first gyms or trainers to cross over and get the Vietnamese athletes prepared for submission grappling. I think that could be a cool one. Do you have any ideas of opportunities for companies to get involved?
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I think one of the many things that jiu-jitsu lacks is just great nutrition advice. Great nutrition advice. We get injured a lot. Anyone who's in the same room as Daniel, during a practice, is probably going to get injured. So we need chiropractors. We need all these. Oh my God! I just thought of a chiropractor. Did I see the commercial all the time? I've been seeing the same commercial, and I forget what the name is. It's the Aussie guy on there. Oh, my name is what's his name? Like, I'm 67 years young or whatever. I forget the but they're always cracking backs and stuff. You got to reach out to them.
On that, often your neck is getting squeezed or your shoulder, right? If you're a local spa, of which there are thousands here, and you want to promote your spa, trust me, there'll be a lot of regulars coming with sore necks and shoulders, right? Come to the event, right? You want to, sometimes your teeth get knocked. Zach sometimes throws he thinks it's Muay Thai training, and maybe you're a dentist and you want to expand your brand. There's a big opportunity to come to these events, right? Yeah. Whoever. You want to get in early into a sport and a community that's going to grow. Go by the numbers. Great event, lots of people, Instagram clips with thousands of views. It's only going to grow, because also if you've attended the event and why it works is the jiu-jitsu community here is great. Like, it's friendly people. It's going to grow. Bunch of friendly people, their families, their kids, there's everyone. There's such a positive atmosphere. It's such a healthy thing. I only imagine it's going to grow. That's my little addition to your point.
Yeah, just to add to what Daniel said about the community here, it's a special community. This is a special place and a special time here in Saigon. You go to other grappling communities around the world, the locals might not blend well with the foreigners. There might not be so much collaboration among gyms and in such a small distance, right? A community in which all the gyms are building all the other gyms up for the most part. We have that here in Vietnam, and that was one of the reasons why we started the podcast, is because we want to combine everyone's efforts and shine light on the right influencers who are really pushing forward this community, right? And it's a special time. So, and I think that we can extend beyond that. One of the things you've been emphasizing is getting the local businesses involved, getting international attention on here, so that we can really set an example for the world in the growth of global grappling.
I'd like to share this idea on that, because whenever I speak to Zach and see what you're doing, I have a lot of these ideas, because if you believe it's going to grow, which I think it will, you wonder what it looks like. And I've always thought about this, and you mentioned the UK, there was a coffee shop at the jiu-jitsu studio. Yeah. And I'd always thought about, it would be so cool, because many people travel to Vietnam. It's nice, it's hot. They're digital nomads. I always thought it would be great for people to travel here and train and kind of have a little health busy lifestyle in New York or whatever, or like it's intense, you want to get out of it, come to Vietnam, train, do a little working holiday. But that's besides the point. I think there's a really big opportunity for someone, maybe it'll be us, we'll take our time to set it up, but someone to start the coffee shop, the co-working space with the jiu-jitsu studio. And you can have digital nomads traveling here. You can have local businesses, local athletes training there. People can work. People can drink coffee, relax. People can train. People can have events. People can record podcasts. I think there's an opportunity to build a community and have Vietnam being a bit like Thailand, where people go there for Muay Thai on I'm going to Thailand on holiday, but I'm going to spend 6 months learning Muay Thai, and I can do it because I can work online type of thing, or I'll take a break from work. So I'd love to share that idea, because I think it's going to happen.
Vietnam is now Southeast Asia's grappling hotspot. Okay, Muay Thai, yes, it is in Thailand, but now, as of this morning, Vietnam is Southeast Asia's grappling hotspot. If you want to get good, if you want to leave New York, if you want to leave Chicago, and you want a good place to train with good people, maybe you're training for ADCC, maybe you're training for CJI, Craig Jones Invitational. Come here to Vietnam.
The V team.
The V team. Train with the V team. That's right. Train with the V team here in Vietnam. It's not a joke, guys. It's not a joke. Rob Deagle's here. People are coming to Vietnam because they are starting to recognize the talent here in Vietnam is high. It's extremely high. And where are you going to go? You're going to go to Austin, Texas. You're going to go to Phuket, Thailand. You're going to go to Saigon, Vietnam.
How many people do you know off the top of your head, expats, foreigners from the States, from UK, from Australia, places where jiu-jitsu is big, who love the lifestyle, the working, training lifestyle here? How many people do you think you know off the top of your head?
I think I could think of 10 off the top of my head. That
you know, interviews.
Yes, of course. Vince is one of them. Chris is one of them, and I'm one of them. I mean, the lifestyle is basically train jiu-jitsu and work in the cafe. That's it. I don't do anything else. I literally don't do anything else. I'm either on the mat or on the computer, and so most of the time I'm driving around looking for a new cafe. That's it. That's pretty much as far as it goes. So let's. I think Chris would be good. We need to get Chris on the podcast. Actually, if he'll do it, we need to get Vince on the podcast again. 20 seconds before you can touch the mic. I'm just kidding.
No, I was just thinking maybe you can relate to this. Like maybe we didn't come here for jiu-jitsu, but if you're living in Australia or the United States, like, I don't know, can training be expensive? I mean, the living costs are higher. And one of the reasons why people come here is like, living costs are lower. People are very welcoming. If you have the ability to work online, or if you have savings, you want to take a break, you can get a bunch of training in a really positive environment, and maybe even save a bit of money or things like that.
This might shock some of you guys, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm actually not here for grappling at all. I'm actually not here for a cheap co-working space. I'm here for Vietnamese street food. That's the only reason I'm here, in cafe *𝐶 and smoothies. That's the only reason I'm here, guys. I just work out so that I can eat more street food. But in all seriousness,
you came for that reason, like most of us do, or different reasons. But you happen to be here at the time where the sport is starting to take off.
Yes. So when I was here the first time, I was here from late 2017 to early 2020. There was almost no jiu-jitsu here. There's almost no jiu-jitsu, and I left at the beginning of COVID, and then I was gone for 3 years, living in South America. Vietnam was still in my mind. How can I get back to Vietnam? I tried to recreate Vietnam in the Dominican Republic. I have a motorbike, I have a beach, and cafes. It just wasn't the same. I tried to recreate that in Colombia. Being around, very welcoming people. The Colombians are very welcoming people, but I still wanted to come back to Vietnam. And then it hit me one day. I was during a wrestling match, actually, at MMA Colombia, right? MMA Colombia. Those guys were tough. My wrestling coach wiped the floor with me. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. This guy destroyed me. A lot of tough MMA fighters, I would just go there for wrestling. And I was in the middle of a wrestling match, and it hit me. I was like, "Oh man, I bet the community in Vietnam is good now." And then maybe there's an opportunity to really make an impact there. And within 24 hours of that thought, I had already decided that I was coming to Vietnam. And I don't know, thankfully that thought came. And it was even more opportunity than I thought, right? Because I just remember, like, these basketball players, their whole job was just to teach basketball. How cool would it be just to teach wrestling in Vietnam, in a place where it's just starting to mold, just starting to grow, to sprout? Is there an opportunity?
for spending a little bit more time with me. So we're quickly going to discuss, we discussed the guru's insights into growing a community, largely using content for Instagram, YouTube, and what is the last one? What am I? Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Okay. So now we're going to just talk a little about LinkedIn and what to do with Zac's profile. So maybe Zac, just first question off the top of your head, like how is your current profile like set up? What is your perspective on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so I've had LinkedIn for a while, but haven't optimized it the right way. It basically just has all the companies that I worked at in the past, and just a few descriptions, and the consulting company in which I still work at, 3 back. It is linked to the company page, and basically did that so that we have a company page and so that the nice logo is on there. But there's much to be done with the LinkedIn. And honestly, I'm a little nervous about doing it. Like, I don't know where to start. I'm a little insecure about posting content on there because it's a professional network. Am I professional? I feel really insecure about Daniel, and I don't know where to turn. I don't know where to get this. I don't know what to do.
I think a lot of people feel the same way. I myself, I had to use LinkedIn to find clients in my previous job, and it took months and I had like 2 goes at it actually. It was my previous consultancy. It took a long time to actually feel like I could relax. And I do wish I had someone to guide me through it, and there are people online that I follow. But what Zac described is kind of like it's set up professionally as like a placeholder, right? People, if they were searching for you, can see 3 back, looks slick, professional. Okay, I can reach out to him. Does that sound right?
That's right.
Okay, so now we're going to go a step further. So now it's not just going to be set up as a placeholder. We're going to set it up to target directly the people Zac would like to reach him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Should we tailor this around Saigon Saga, both companies, or preferably who do you think you would like to engage with or have reach out to you?
I think I'm not sure yet. I guess.
Too much because we can cut this.
But I think definitely I just want to connect with local and international businesses that might want to sponsor or be a part of the Saigon Saga, and especially people in organizations interested in the growth of grappling globally, especially in Southeast Asia and specifically Vietnam.
Great. So I can think of, a lot of companies, and we spoke about it earlier, like nutrition companies. Zac gets millions of views on some of the Instagram clips. There could be e-commerce sites. Like, there are a bunch of brands already I can think of that would like to chat to you, right? So coming back to LinkedIn, how do we get those people? First step, and I mentioned earlier, I called it the ICP. And maybe you thought it wasn't the best simple takeaway, but I thought about it a little bit more, and I think it is. So first, if you understand who you want to reach, ICP, thank you for reminding me. Ideal customer profile. Okay, so a business or person who would like to get involved or sponsor the Saigon Saga or Jiu-Jitsu in Vietnam. That's it. Now, if we just clearly define that in our minds, we tailor your profile, who you connect with, who you engage with, and the content you create all around that. So if you can just get that one principle right, you're off to the races. You'll figure it out as you go. Then there's some little tricks about LinkedIn. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So the first step would be setting Zac's profile up, and we'll run through it. I'll fire it off quickly. You have a cover image, right? So we use your cover image as a hook, but not clickbait, but as a hook. So if that ideal customer profile comes across Zac's cover image, they can see it, get the information they need to potentially scroll down or contact Zac. That goes the same for your tagline. You need to explain like what you do and what the mission is, right? Growing jiu-jitsu in Vietnam with great content contact me to get involved. Something that simple, right? Profile picture. If they scroll down, there's an opportunity for a link for them to maybe book a meeting or go to the Saigon Saga podcast. Or when you get your about page, you can write it long form to convert them like you would for your website. So now as a consulting company, you might build a web page for someone. You can format it in the same sort of principle, right? That's your profile, set up, done. Next, who you connect with. You search for those profiles on LinkedIn. There are automation tools. There are ways to do it, but you build a connection base with those people, right? The same way with Instagram, how you might follow people you want to get connected with, right? And then next, it's the content and the engagement. Last point, and then we'll let Zac go. Making sense so far?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the content now. Zac is making content completely tailored to his ideal customer profile, right? So any content and cool videos he creates is going to showcase how he addresses the problems for his ideal customer profile. Ideal customer profile might want to reach Zac's audience through the podcast. So he is going to create content showing how many of these people he reaches and the quality of his podcast, all stuff around that, right? Then he's going to engage with those people so that his content shows up a lot more on the platform. He's going to understand the algorithm. And really, that's it. Those are the principles. Create content for your ICP, structure your profile. So if they click from your content to your profile, hopefully they're inclined to send you a message. If not, when you send them a message saying, hey, are you interested in getting involved? They've seen you before. They're educated. They're aware of what you do.
I can already think of some things that I can do immediately, which is just the cover profile. I'm already thinking about some of the gyms, some of the key influencers in Saigon, some short clips that we can take shots of. So I think we'll go ahead and do that, and then also just the tagline. Tagline's huge. You've already given the tagline for me. Now I feel good about my LinkedIn profile, and I can't wait to get that. I'll probably get those done today. That way we can start the ball rolling. So thank you for making it very simple, Daniel. Thank you for being consistent and in doing this, because you understand how important this is. Thank you so much.
Zac, one final quick question for you. Quick one. Most awkward jiu-jitsu experience you've ever had? Go.
The most awkward jiu-jitsu experience is, just went to a gym in the Dominican Republic where I felt like I was the enemy. I just felt like everyone's kind of looking at me, only Spanish. I felt like they were kind of like, and turns out I rolled with the guy, and later I had a super fight with him, and he used what he learned about me and basically triangled me in spectacular fashion. It was recorded at a studio in Santo Domingo. Yeah, it was quite awkward. So glad those days are behind me. And but great question.
What about that story when you thought you did an hour wrestling class, but it was actually a karate gym?
What is it?
You did an hour wrestling class, wrestling with everyone, but you actually walked into a karate gym.
Is this a real story?
No, I'm talking shit, basically with you.
That would be fun, actually. I should actually do that in real life. That's the last words.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome, man. Until next time.